When we talk prepping or homesteading, when we talk survivorship, when we talk about buying things and stockpiling things, we want things that are versatile, things that we can use pretty much for anything and everything. So what is one prep that we need to be doing and utilizing and purchasing and stockpiling that may be something that could possibly give us an answer to solve a lot of issues and also be able to be utilized in several ways? Well, let's talk about it today, and then we're going to talk about the reasons and the importance of this stockpile item. It should be a good video. Hopefully gain some wisdom through it. Guys, today's video is going to be going, and it starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. It is absolutely freezing here in South Mississippi. It's amazing. I did a video just a few days ago and it was rainy. I actually was wearing a t-shirt because it was like 80 outside. It's so cold that my camera keeps actually glitching. So I am ready to go back inside, but I wanted to get this video to you because it's very, very important when it talks about prepping and survivorship and what is one thing that we can buy that could pretty much be utilized for a lot of different things. So let's jump right into it. What is one of the main things that we need to be buying? Well, we talk food, water, we talk shelter, we talk all that. But what's the common denominator of something that we can utilize in all of those aspects? It's propane. Propane tanks and propane fuel is awesome to have as a stockpile and buy option. So now let's talk about the reasons why and also the importance of it. We've seen a lot of governments, especially in counties, cities, municipalities, even down to some of the states. For instance, New York State, you know, we talked about the gas ban and the stove ban not too long ago. It's serious because by 2025, 2028, and 2030, the New York governor is wanting to pass this law to be where you cannot have anything but electric appliances in your home, in your business, and in your manufacturing business. So when we think about that, that means you're going to be all on the grid. And what happens when the grid goes down? How can you take care of your family? How can you do the things you need to do? So this is the reasons why propane is important. Before we jump into our list, let's find out ways that we can store propane. First, you have the little cylinder. These little cylinders you can buy. It's not the most efficient, but it also is best for space. So if you have some of these, you can put a lot of them up in closets. Not the best way to buy propane, but it will allow you to put it up and have it pretty easy. Now, secondly would be this one. This would be what you consider charcoal grills, barbecue grills, this size propane tank. We have a lot of these also. This is the secondary way to buy. It's not the cheapest, but ultimately it's good to have. You can utilize these. You can store these indoors. Now, be safe. Don't store them by a fireplace. Don't be ignorant when you're storing. Keep them in a safe place. But we store these in our home. We store it in storage buildings right outside our home too. So it is not bad to take care of these in a controlled environment. Number three would be this guy. You can buy these used. You don't have to buy these from propane companies. You can buy them used. A lot of times people sell them all the time. Now you need to get them inspected and make sure they are safe. If you can buy one new, great. But you can buy one used, they'll clean it up, refurbish it, and it's ready to go. So maybe if you're in apartments, you can't have the big one, you can have the smaller versions. If you're in a rural area like us, you could have the big ones. And that way you can store it and it's gonna be a lot cheaper. What other fuel can you store, 400 or 500 gallons or 1,000 gallons and keep it safe, also keep it in a controlled environment and be able to utilize it in several ways? It's only propane. So now let's jump into the reasons why we want to take care of ourselves by keeping propane and stockpiling propane. Number one is food and water. We talk about food and water, but why would we want propane with it? This is why. These right here. This is a little propane burner. Now, this is also a propane burner. This is also a propane stove. Now, the reason we show you these, and we'll link a lot of these below, you can buy the one that costs $30 and $40, or you can buy the one that costs $300. I don't care. What I am saying is you need to have some way to cook food or boil water. Having little propane tanks or having big propane tanks, it's all good. Now, having propane is not the most efficient way of producing your energy. It could be very costly if you're running it all the time. But we're talking survivalship, we're talking crap hits the fan, we're talking I need to get by for safety. Well, this would be a great option because now you can boil your water when it's not safe. If you don't know if you can trust the water coming out of the tap or trust the water in the creek next to you, this will allow you to boil the water. Also, even though we're stockpiling freeze-dried foods, or we're stockpiling food that may not need to be cooked all the time, some things will need to be heated. Some things will need to have water and be rehydrated, especially like freeze-dried foods. So having a way to cook, having a way to boil water is excellent when it comes to propane. Once you use it, cut it off, you're done with it, and you can store that fuel again. But this is a way that you can cook indoors, make sure you're safe in your element, but also have a source of electricity to be able to have fuel to make food and water safe. Also with cooking, you think about a grill. We keep a little tabletop grill to where we can hook a propane tank to it, kind of like this. So now we've talked cooktops, we've talked little burners, and we've talked grills. We don't realize how important some of those things would be when it comes to our water and our food. Number 2 is heat. We talked about the little buddy heater, like for instance, this little buddy, and then you have a big buddy, or a bigger version of it. Now, these again range from under $100, over $100, and of course over $200. Sometimes you may not can buy this, but this is a way that you can heat areas of your home or heat rooms in your home and keep yourself warm on propane. You can hook it up to the smaller, it's set up to use the Coleman little small cylinders. However, there's an adapter we talked about in another video. You can hook right to your bigger propane tanks, and now you have a way to heat your home or heat yourself, especially during certain times where, say for instance, it's just so cold today and you just need to stay warm for a few minutes, a few hours. Then you can turn it off, get it under covers, you're okay. Maybe you come in soaking wet because you've had to go do something. You can put it in front of the little heater, and all of a sudden you have a way to dry your clothes. Having a heat source is huge, and this allows you to have it off grid, have it to where you don't have smoke coming from a chimney, so it allows you to be very discreet in heating something. That is key when it comes to survival and taking care of your family and being self-reliant. You have a way to have heat. So we talked food, now we've talked heat, taking care of your family in 2 different ways. Now let's jump into some other ways that it's so important to have propane. Number 3 would be a light source. Now I know light is not as important as food and water and heat, but when it comes to having children, when it comes to safety and security, light is a good thing to have. Now again, I would challenge you not using propane for lights, because propane can be utilized in a lot of other important ways, and you can usually pick up solar lights or battery operated lights for cheaper, and you can run them cheaper and it would last longer. But there's some options like this. They're like little campfire propane lights. They are great to have just for emergency cases, to where if you have no source of light, your flashlight batteries are dead, and there's no sun out because it's winter and you don't get a lot of sun and it's not a lot enough to charge these lights, then you can fall back on the little propane lights. Very good to have. So you see how propane is so versatile. We've used it in so many different ways from the same cylinders for a lot of different items that we have talked about. Now let's jump into another option. Number 4 is something that has really come out the last few years, but it could be a game changer for you. It's going to be a fridge or a freezer combo that runs off propane. Now a lot of these will run off a 12 or 24 volt battery as well, but to have a propane option is good. Now this is it right here. And so it allows you to be able to cool something down. For instance, like us, we have cows, we raise cows, we milk our cows, and then all of a sudden we have milk and we have to chill that milk. Now you don't want to use this all the time. You're not running a 24-hour, propane fridge, because it's gonna cost you a lot of money. But say you just need to chill something down. Say you're butchering some meat and you need to chill it down and get it cool enough to be able to do whatever with it, or to utilize it in some other form or fashion. This would be a great way to have that. Having this little fridge, having this little cooler. Now these are one of the most expensive options on this list, but it's another way to versatile use of energy without the grid. And when there's no other power source and you need to cool something down, this fridge could be a game changer and a lifesaver. Think about your medicine. If you're in the dead of summer and all of a sudden a hurricane hits, or all of a sudden the grid goes down because there's something goes wrong in our world, because we live in a crazy world right now, and we're needing some kind of coolness for our medicines. Think how great this would be to have this little small fridge to be able to take care of your medicines. So think outside the box. If you can afford it, these things can cost $300 or $400, or they can go up, oh gosh, over $1,000. But there's different options that you can look at that can help you with your family to have a versatile way, not only to run it off a battery, but to run it off propane. Why is propane more important than a lot of other things, especially because of versatility? Number 5 would be the main reason. Now this is a big expense, but this is something that can run everything you need it to run. I have this exact unit right here. So number 5 would be a propane generator. Now I have a gas generator. I have a solar generator. This one even runs off gas as well. But when it comes down to it, and you're living out of a camper or off-grid tiny home, or you're living in a home like us that's just normal home, if you can find a way to hook this generator up, which is easy, and I've got a video on ours personally, but if you can find a way to spend $1,500 to $2,000 to $2,500 to have a way that you can run your home safely, that is huge. Now, I've built a panel in my home to where I can flip off what I don't need and then what I do need. This generator hooks into my home. Now this can run something as simple as the little things we've talked about. Maybe you just need to run a stove for a little bit. Maybe you need to run lights. Maybe you need to run heat. Maybe you need to run something in your home for the time being. Maybe you need to protect your fridges and freezers until the lights come back on. This can do it. Now you can run it off the little cylinders, especially if you're looking at a portable option. This rolls around. You can use the little cylinders like you would in a barbecue grill. But I challenge you, if you buy something like this and you can looking at another investment, buy the bigger version to hold a 300 or 500 or 750 or 1,000 gallons of propane right outside your home. This will allow you to run your property and make sure you're not running everything, because you don't want to look at it as I want to run my whole house, in which it can. It's a whole house generator, but it would allow you to then run just what you need. For instance, if this happens with us, if the grid goes down today, or we lose power because a major storm, I'm gonna take my generator out there, roll it to the side of my house, hook my propane line from it, and turn everything off other than my water well, and then the one area that I have my fridges and freezers in this little laundry room or mud room that we have. Now, I would not leave those on all the time. Again, I would not burn my propane all the time. But I would say, okay, when I needed it, all I have to do is push the little button on the generator, get it cranked up, and then all of a sudden I can run what I need to for the time being. When I'm not using it, I flip it off. So I've got off-grid power, not tied to the grid, that could get me through, especially if you have a 300 or 500 gallon tank, that could get you through a few days or weeks. I have a tank, and the way we've set ours up, we've managed to say it could last us about 3 to 4 weeks. What it would do, it would allow us to then turn around and can the food, because we're running parts of the house. We could can a lot of the meat that we have in the freezer. We could also grill a lot of this meat and smoke a lot of this meat and get rid of the rest of it, so then we're not using the freezers. Even though we have a hand pump, we could hook our well to it, run as much water as we can out of it, put storable water tanks, and then be able to move them wherever we're needing to get out of here if we ever had to, or to be able to utilize them when all of a sudden the propane's out. So now you have got a versatile way of using this generator to run parts of your house that is a necessity and a need, and then when you're done, turn it off. Or when it runs out, hopefully you have the grid back, or you have found other innovative ways to get where you got to go for safety and survival. This is why I go back and say propane is very good to have. From the small cylinder bottles, which I personally have, so it's easy and accessible to be able to put it in my little buddy heater or my little barbecue grill or my little stovetop burner. All those things could be utilized. And then we have the ones that fit into the barbecue grills. I can have a little bit more access to it. It's still portable, but allows me to hold a lot more in capacity. And then thirdly, having the option with the big version of it to be able to put outside of a home. This is not one you're gonna move a lot, but at the same time, it's just about the easiest and most economical way to have it is buying it in bulk and putting it outside your home. Don't buy propane in the winter. It always is more expensive. So try to buy it in the summer months or in the spring months when it goes on sale or it goes a little bit less. So they know it too. It costs more in the winter. Just a hack, buy it in the spring or summer, or buy these little tanks when things are not bad. If you wait till a storm comes, or you wait till something goes bad and goes down, and all of a sudden you're trying to look for these, you're not gonna find propane, because people are gonna buy them up like crazy. Take your time, stockpile some of these little Coleman versions, stockpile some of the barbecue size versions, and then if you have the options, buy the bigger version to put outside your home. You are now having a versatile way to have an off-grid source of energy to get you by and utilize it for your food, your shelter, your water, your safety, and all the things that you're needing to survive. I hope this video helps. Please understand the value of propane and what it could do for you and your family. Appreciate you watching this video. If you like this content, please go down here and press subscribe and ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up. Tell us what you think about this video. Tell us other ways that you could use propane around your home to be more self-reliant. Remember, we're gonna be giving away thousands of dollars worth of awesome merchandise and awesome things to help you get started on your survival journey and your prepping journey when we hit 200,000 subscribers. So go down here, subscribe, then you're entered in the giveaway. From the batteries, solar generators, to the little buddy heaters, to even down to coffee and some cool merchandise like hats and shirts. We even have tons of seeds to give away. It's getting close to spring, guys. It's time to start planting those gardens or planting indoor beds or raised beds. So go down here, press subscribe, enter the giveaway, and hopefully you will win one of these awesome gifts. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.